coming your way here in about 5 seconds or so. So stay with us. We've got to work by the clock. Here we go. Live from Tailpipes and Tacos, the Cruise In Christmas edition. It's the End Wheel Time Car Talk Show. And just ahead, we're going to talk to some of the cruisers here this morning. And yes, there are some here despite the chilly, cloudy weather. But there is no rain in the forecast.
It's not chilly. You are misled. It is not. It's cold. I'm cold.
It's not that cold.
It's cold.
It's only 45 degrees. But let me get through this intro, and we'll get on with that. We're going to talk to some of the cruisers. Had a chance to drive the Genesis G90. Going to review that, give you my thoughts on it. We'll also have the cruise-in calendar along with the stories making auto news headlines this week. Plus, Conrad, who's in the men's room right now, will have this week in auto history. Just ahead on the End Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, who's somewhere. King Conrad DeLong, who's making his way back from the bathroom. We need more Jeff Zekin. The fabulous David Ainsley. I'm Don Armstrong. Howdy from behind the pole. Hi. They call me the pole dancer.
Yeah.
That's it.
Tiny dancer.
Tiny dancer. We've been here since 6 o'clock getting all set up for you for this live remote Christmas edition, and we are glad that you could join us as well. It's going to be a great morning. As a matter of fact, if you bring a toy to the Cruise In today, then you will get a free Lupi Tortilla taco.
Yay.
Yeah. So There's that. Hi.
Christmas and birthday edition, Don. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you, too.
Happy birthday, boys.
By the way, if you didn't know it, Conrad and I have the same birthday.
Well,
which is a scary
same
thing.
day.
Different mothers.
Don's was a few years earlier than mine.
No, it wasn't.
Thought you were 47.
I'm 47. That's what it is. My voice sounds a little distorted, but maybe it's just me.
It's all the margaritas you had last night.
Yeah, I only had a.
You're disturbed. Your voice is distorted.
It is. Ooh, that's a nice Buick there.
That is nice.
Yeah, is that a 56?
I don't know.
It's a four-holer.
Yeah.
It's a four-holer and it's a four-door. That's a nice car. I like
a shot of that rolling in. There you go.
There you go. Anyway, so we're inviting everybody to come out for today's Cruise In. Oh, but it rained last night. It's okay. It's not raining now. There's no rain in the forecast. As a matter of fact, by about 1 or 2 o'clock this afternoon, it's supposed to be crystal clear blue skies. This is just some wraparound clouds.
And we'll be gone.
There's no rain in the forecast today.
We're going to the beach.
And we're going to the beach. We are at the beach. The Lupi Tortilla Beach. As a matter of fact, the nice fire pits are going over here.
Yeah, nice fire pits.
We got a couple cars coming in. We got more on the way.
And everybody's gathered around the fire pits.
There you go.
Yeah. How about you?
We're going to gather around
I was surprised.
Conrad.
I was surprised to actually see you at exactly 6 o'clock this morning. You were raring to go. When I sent out the little note to everybody and said,
I'm generally on time, Don.
You are? Yes, you are. But, I mean, it's chilly. And I thought you'd be, hunkered down in the car out there with the heater going, but no.
That was me.
Was it you?
That was me.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you get here early this morning?
I got here about 10 to 6, 5
I
to 6.
want you to know that that we have guests lined up for you. Mr. Mars is working on that as we speak. But there was an interesting story this week that I wanted to share with everybody. Are you an AM radio fan? Are you?
Yeah.
AM radio? Do you listen to AM radio?
Yeah,
once
a lot of talk radio.
Yeah, talk radio. And
I'm a huge Michael Berry fan.
Me too. I love Michael Berry. I met him actually when he was on city council years ago, and he's quite the character. Very well schooled and read. Yep, and I think he's got a great talk show. If you're into conservative talk radio, then that's one for you. He's on 740 in the mornings and in the afternoons. Yep. I kind of like that too. Anyway, speaking of AM radio, came across this story. This is nothing new, really, but I thought that it was interesting that somebody put it in writing. It's had 76,000 views, 26,000 shares. An increasing number of electric model cars have dropped AM radio in what broadcasters call a worrisome shift that could spell trouble for the stations and deprive drivers of a crucial source of news in emergencies. Car makers say that electric vehicles generate more electromagnetic interference than gas-powered cars, which can disrupt the reception of AM signals and cause static, noise, and high-frequency hum. You're familiar with that. FM signals are much more resistant to the interference. And so there are car manufacturers that are making electric cars now that have dropped AM radio. BMW said in a statement, rather than frustrate customers with inferior reception and noise, the decision was made to leave it off vehicles that feature their e-drive technology. Tesla, Audi, Porsche, and Volvo have also removed AM radio from their electric vehicles, as has Volkswagen from its electric XUV ID.4, according to the car makers and the National Association of Broadcasters. Ford said that the 2023 F-150 Lightning, its popular electric pickup truck, would also drop AM radio. Some experts say the reception problems are not insurmountable. Electromagnetic interference could be controlled with shielding cables, filters, and careful placement of the electrical components in the vehicle. Communications system engineer has confirmed all of that.
So it's easier to remove a feature than to fix the car.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, it's funny because back in the Corvette days, because Corvettes were made of fiberglass and now they're made of plastic, that interference on the radio was controlled from the distributor through a shielding thing.
A chrome cover.
A chrome cover over the distributor.
And that chrome cover had to be grounded.
Yep. And actually that chrome cover also shielded the spark plug wires coming out of that, and to a point when it got closer to the engine down below. And so they know how to do it. And they also know how to make the cables that are shielded as well. But no, let's not do that because it's going to add even more cost to the cars. And, of course, we'll have to pass that on. Not that Ford is any particular car maker that hasn't done that already. As a matter of fact, I have a story that they have actually raised the price of the new F-150 again.
An additional
$16,000.
Yeah.
16 grand.
I think 16 total since it was announced.
Yeah. So there's that. I want to know what the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, has planned.
I don't
Nothing.
think they care.
They don't care. They could care less. Now, David is still in broadcasting, and he works for a station. Do you have any AM stations? You don't have any AM stations.
He works for like 20 of them. How many do you work for?
He's in charge
3.
of them.
David, you could turn your microphone on and talk to us.
Oh, fine.
Okay, but you need to move the
That's
microphone
enough.
a little bit closer to your mouth. He's an engineer.
That's enough. No more talking.
But he's not on the air typically, unless he comes on the air with us.
Don't touch it.
So that I think that's bad news because the AM dial, like the FM dial, is filled with stuff.
Oh, yeah.
What are those guys that have single standalone AM radio stations going to do?
Well, there's actually AM digital.
Yes, there is AM digital.
I don't know how the electric motor would interfere with that, but it may totally wipe it out.
Well, so that's over the internet.
No,
Bluetooth.
it's through an antenna, kind of.
Yeah. It's the same kind of transmission system.
Yeah. So it's going to be
AM stands for what modulated?
amplitude
modulated.
as opposed to
Versus
Frequency
modulated.
modulation.
Look at us.
Yeah.
Like we know something.
We don't know squat.
We know a member of the Broadcasting Hall of Fame who has taught us these things.
Here we go.
Obviously, we weren't listening.
Wait, we weren't. I wasn't listening, clearly.
All the way through college.
They've made a terrible mistake in their selection process.
The only thing he taught me was don't touch it.
Don't touch it. We've had that issue already with
I
my
know.
computer this morning.
Yeah.
Don't touch it. All right. On to the car talk show, shall we? Mr. Mars, who do we have?
Joining us now is Charlie Troop. I said that right. He happens to have this 1941 Ford truck out here.
Huh.
It's kind of
Oh,
behind
I see
the
it
deal.
back over there.
Yeah.
The beige one.
It's one of those that's kind of it's got basically the classic styling of the 41 Ford, but he's really updated this thing a lot.
Well, welcome to the show, and thanks for joining us this morning.
Tell us about your truck.
Well, first of all, let's just acknowledge the fact that it's Santa in disguise.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you showing up, Santa. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. So, are you from these parts?
I'm out of Fulshear.
Fulshear, Texas?
Yeah.
Were you born and raised in Fulshear?
No, I was born way up north.
Where?
Corsicana.
Corsicana.
Still south of the Red River.
Well, you know, the entire city of Houston is moving to Fulshear, and I'm sure that you're well aware of that.
Yeah.
It's changed. I can't even.
We got the memo.
Yeah, exactly. Fulshear used to be out in the country, and it's not. It's on the edge of town now. Well, actually, town has joined it, or swallowed it up, whatever you want to say. How long you own that 41 Ford?
About 5 years.
Yeah. You buy it off the internet, or how did you acquire it?
Yeah, I got it off the internet. Got it shipped down here from Michigan. The paint and body was done, but we pretty much did everything else.
What did you do to it?
Well, first of all, we got rid of that 327 Chevy and put a Ford in it.
Thank God. Why do people do that? Would you explain that to me?
Can't help you.
Simplicity.
Well,
the Chevy motor is so readily available, and everybody does it, and modding it's pretty easy and inexpensive.
As opposed to a Ford?
I don't know that the Ford's necessarily any more expensive to mod, but the Chevy's.
It has some nuances that are different.
Nuances.
Yeah.
What's the definition?
Did Charlie give you that word?
Yeah, he did.
Because that's not a word that's in your vocabulary.
Yeah, no, he
a
wrote
nuance. Well, okay. Well, what nuances you got? What size Ford do you have in it?
I went with the 302.
Oh, okay, like a Mustang motor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
302 automatic overdrive, 300 rear end, getting 18 miles a gallon with it.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And it's as aerodynamic as a brick.
Yeah, I know, but it's not about that. It's about the look, and the thing is classic. I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I saw it drive in. It's a gorgeous truck.
Oh, it's fun to play with.
Now, have you done anything to the steering and the brakes and the fundamentals of the vehicle, or was that already done too?
It was done.
It was.
The Mustang rack and pinion and four-wheel disc brakes.
Seriously. Well, it probably handles pretty good for what it is.
Until the wind blows.
Is it tight in the steering? Is it tight going down the road?
Yes, but it's so lightweight, it doesn't handle the wind very good.
The whole thing is so lightweight and completely overpowered from what it was originally.
Yeah.
What did it have, a 6-cylinder in it originally?
Probably flathead V8.
It had the flathead V8.
Oh, it did?
The 91 horse.
Okay. And how many horses it's got now? 300?
No, about 280.
Okay.
That's more than enough to get me up and down the road.
Yeah, exactly. You got headers on it?
Yeah.
It's got headers. And dual exhaust all the way back to the back?
Carbureted or fuel injected?
Carbureted.
How does that handle the cold weather? Have you got a manual choke still on it?
No, I got an automatic choke on it.
Do you?
Yeah.
See, I like that old manual choke. You could go back to that if you wanted.
I could, but then I'd have to put another hole in the dash.
Conrad's shaking his head no. Why? Why don't you like a manual choke?
It's just more work. I mean, with an automatic choke, it's whack the throttle 2 times. The choke sets. The spring's waiting for a little bit of heat to open up. Start the car, let it warm up a little bit. Whack the throttle again. It goes back to a standard idle.
But
Conrad just likes the whacking.
you know what? I've known that about him for a long, long time.
Somebody had to say it.
Yeah, and we left it up to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. So do you drive it often? It's not a daily driver.
I'm not a daily driver, but I'm going to get it out at least twice a week.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That's good. Good.
And the wife likes doing road trips with it. So you maybe put AC in it.
Well,
That's perfect.
I put up an argument for a day. I'm kind of glad I lost that argument.
Yeah. So there's an event.
Put a vintage air in it.
Yeah.
Vintage Air does such a good job with selling complete systems.
Yeah.
There is an event coming up, if you like road trips, that, as a matter of fact, I've been in touch with Bobby Sparkman. He started a thing last year that I had the pleasure of going on to called the Hot Rod Tour of Texas. Did you go on? You didn't go on that. I didn't see that truck there.
No, we had a wedding, and I didn't get to vote.
This is the year.
There's
okay?
another one you lost.
There's another one I lost.
This is the year for us to join us. We don't have. He doesn't have a date. I say we.
No, he's got a date.
Yep.
He's got a date, April
Last weekend
27th.
in
April 27th.
Well, that's not official yet.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it is.
Oh. Well,
After,
then you know.
after
he's-
we
he's
after
made
we let
it
it
official.
slip, he came out and said, "Yeah, that's right. It's official."
He's
Okay.
made it official.
Well, because last time I spoke with him, it was the fact that we're looking at the last weekend, April, and we'll let you know and make the
He
announcement on
hasn't.
your show.
He hasn't announced a route yet. A route yet. Route or route?
It's Route 66.
It's Route 66.
No, it's not Route 66. Good Lord.
It's not a route beer. It's a root beer.
That's spelled differently, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. But at any rate, it's a great fun time, and I hope that you'll join us.
I think this year he said he's going to go eastbound and down.
Seriously? Is that where he's going to go?
That was kind of the conversation that they were going to head eastbound this time from Victoria.
All right.
Well, the plan is for us to go.
Good. Well,
Unless I get orders from
Different orders. Yeah.
unless you have another wedding to go to.
something like that.
Yeah. Or somebody slipped and fell, and we got to go visit them in the hospital. Well, we can make that part of the route. What kind of tires you got on it? First of all, let's go back. Brakes. What kind of brakes? Tell me it's not all drum brakes all the way around.
No, it's
It's
disc
four-wheel
brake.
disc.
All the way
Four-wheel
around?
disc brakes?
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you? So we got the front clip of the Mustang on it, but how about the rear end? How did you modify? Well, did you get it that way with it four-wheel discs on it?
Yes. Yes, it was.
So it's already been modified. It doesn't have the original rear end in it.
No, 9-inch.
Got a 9-inch Ford in it. How do you adjust the width of the rear end to fit a 41 Ford? You cut it?
Cut the tubes,
Yeah.
get the axles custom length.
Ooh. Well, that's a lot of work.
Well,
Aren't you glad you didn't have to do that?
I had to do the repair on it.
Oh, it was something
Well,
wrong?
I take it back. Bomberos did the repair on it for me.
Okay. What was wrong?
Leaking pretty bad.
They were. Yeah. Well, that's good that you got that. Okay, so what kind of tires you got on it? Do you know?
Off the top of my head, no.
Did you buy the tires?
I've replaced the fronts, and I forgot what I put on it now. But it's the same thing that was on it.
Okay. All right. Some radial tire.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the Goodyear or the Goodrich, anything like that. It's just another brand that I'm not familiar with.
Got it. All right. Well, you have any other?
He's got a really cool sign on the front of it there, right up there. You know, on the 41 Ford where the hood comes down the latch. It's pretty wide with the radiator. You want to tell him what that sign says?
Don't touch. This will kill you, and it's gonna hurt the whole time you're dying.
Yeah,
I love it.
You know,
You didn't mention my propeller that it's behind.
Well, I didn't know if that was just for the holidays or if that was all the time.
I keep it on quite a bit.
He's got a propeller up front too.
Look at that.
propeller.
Yeah, a wooden propeller.
Nice. Well, that's certainly a different touch.
Is it a Delica? No?
I like to call it my love bug deflector.
Love bug deflector. Well, that pretty much do it. Chop them up and just make them
Spit 'em out.
spit them out.
Spread them all over the windshield.
Do you have any other modifications planned for it?
I thought about doing a bed cover, not a soft one, but a hard cover. Just hadn't got around to it yet. But the wife likes to, when we go somewhere, she wants to pack something. In a 41 Ford, you got zero room in the cab.
Yeah.
Right.
And she didn't want to put anything in the bed of the truck. So.
Now, did that truck have a gas tank in the cab
Yeah, but
originally?
Originally it did. Now it's under the bed.
That's good. Yeah. What a safety idea that is.
And what about the interior?
Well, we got rid of the bench seat, did bucket seats. Now, they're on a wood platform, but it's good enough for me. Did put seat belts in it. Not shoulder harness, but just regular lap belt.
So you don't. So when you take a corner a little bit too fast, you don't slide to the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can totally. My Corvair didn't have seat belts. and I had the seat belts put.
Didn't have
in it.
horsepower either.
Well, it didn't, but you could get it around the corner.
Didn't have any power,
It had no power. Yeah,
horse
that's
or
true.
whatever.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. So, have you been out here before? Have you been to the show before?
Yeah, this is about my 7th time.
Great.
And we haven't nabbed you yet and brought you on the show to torture you with questions.
Have not.
Well, now you have that
Okay.
under your belt.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Thank you much.
Well, we appreciate it.
Very
Y'all have
cool
fun.
truck. Very, very
We'll be
cool
looking
truck.
for you in Fulshear.
How far are you away from Anthony's in Simonton?
4 or 5 miles.
So he's between Simonton and Fulshear.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good place.
What we like
We've
is
been there.
Dozier still there?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Somebody said, "Oh, it closed." What? No, it can't
That was
close.
closed when we went by there.
Oh,
No, now they got an outside sitting area, and they got a band that shows up kind of regular, that kind of stuff.
wow! They've come a long way from the early days out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It used to be just a quick stop barbecue joint that is on the side of the road. Now it's a destination.
Yeah.
Well, it's great to talk to you. Thanks so much for stopping by. We
Thank you
appreciate
much.
Thank you. Okay. I think it's my turn to do a car review.
Yes, sir, it is.
All right.
I can't see the clock.
I know you can't. How do you want to handle that,
I'm
Jeff?
just stressing. I'll just stress. That's
Okay.
fine.
You got your watch on?
8:21.
Time now for this hour's car review. I had a chance to drive the 2023 Genesis G90. I'm not real familiar with the Genesis brand because I've only had, I think, one other since it.
That's to, isn't that to Hyundai what Lexus is to Toyota?
Yes.
Kind of their up-level brand.
And let me tell you something. There is no comparison.
Oh, it's a beautiful truck.
It is car. This was
Car.
the four-door sedan. This was the comparison to the Lexus LS.
Big luxury.
So I had the 3.5T for turbo, E for electric, supercharger AWD.
For blown and all-wheel drive.
Yep.
Well, yes, that.
There's a
was the
story about
E-
reindeer and that.
E supercharger. Yeah, Jeff. We'll get Jeff to explain that story for you later. But this is a large car, a big, beautiful four-door sedan. It seats 4 plus the driver, so 5 folks can get inside of it. The reason I got it, it's a complete redesign for 2023. Now, this was the first car, the G90, the first car that Genesis turned out 5 years ago. So, huge open maw for a grille with thin horizontal lighting up front. It's got a huge grille. If you're into that sort of thing, good for you. Maybach style rear quarters with, again, distinctive horizontal lighting in the back. Integrated dual exhaust tips. This thing is absolutely gorgeous.
Pretty.
Tightly sculpted wheel openings with stylish upscale wheels. What I liked, the overall design kills it. Soft closed doors with no handles on the interior is a winner.
So how do you open them?
With a button.
Open sesame?
Yep. Hit the button and it opens. And it's also got a soft close feature.
So it kind of closes and then it pulls it the rest of the way in?
Yep.
It's like a kitchen cabinet.
Yeah, it's really nice. What could use improvement? The oversized grille is not my cup of tea. Lexus is not your competition in the grille category. Interior highlights. One of the most beautiful interiors in this price range. Functional controls with solid buttons, switches, and knobs. Easy to use touchscreen with a built-in owner's manual. Went to look for the owner's manual.
Cool.
Couldn't find it.
Wow.
Because I needed to wonder how to do certain things.
In the driver information center?
It's in the
You gotta
driver
go find
information,
it.
the owner's manual. And it is extensive. So plan to spend a good day at the screen of your
Trying to
Genesis
figure all
G90.
the-
Yeah.
all the
Steering
features
wheel
out.
control functions work well. Cargo trunk room, large but a smallish opening, kind of typical for that kind of style. What I liked about it, all of the interior, including the seating comfort. Engine, it had the optional 3.5-liter turbo with a mild hybrid. Turned out 409 horsepower and 405 pound-feet of torque.
That's
to
a
it.
lot from a 3.5.
It is. It's that E mild hybrid system that's on it. 8-speed automatic transmission. Mileage, 17 miles per gallon in the city, 24 on the highway for a combined of 20. I got 22 over 212 miles. What I liked about it, the smooth V8 style power and an invisible transmission. This thing was as smooth as glass. Why can't they make them all that way? What could use improvement? Absolutely nothing. Don't touch it. Ride and handling. That air ride suspension is a perfect fit for this Luxo sedan. Note that I made there.
Yep.
What could use improvement? It doesn't get any better than this.
Wow.
Pricing. The base trim price, $98,700.
All right.
Price as tested, $100,370.
It's not much.
The
higher.
base model price is $89,495. So if you can get them to turn out the base model price, you can win this car for $89,495. Competitors, Lexus LS Hybrid. It goes for $111,204. Now, Mercedes doesn't have a hybrid, so we just do the S-Class, $95,245. And the Audi A8, $86,500, again, a non-hybrid. And that's my review of the Genesis G90 sedan. It is an absolutely stunningly beautiful car.
It's pretty. Very
You
nice.
liked it.
Oh, my gosh. I'd take that today. You want to give me that? I'm in. I got it. All right. Time now for the cruise-in calendar. Besides today's event here at the Lupi Tortilla,
And we're going to be open till 11 o'clock, so if you're home listening, get in your car and get out here. Bring a toy, and they will give you a free breakfast taco.
it's good. And if you don't have anything else, there really isn't anything else in the entire whole world other than the Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas edition cruise-in. But
There you go.
This afternoon, Saturday at the ranch, at Ranch Harley-Davidson up in College Station.
Harley-Davidson,
Harley-Davidson.
they making cars now?
They do a cruise-in once a month.
Okay.
Tonight at 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. is Nifty 50s cruise-in.
I thought that they were done.
I
No.
thought they were done last time.
And then they are having a toy drive as well, or
okay.
a food drive. I guess Randy needs to fill his pantry. Maybe not.
Okay.
They're doing a food drive. At 6 p.m., Cypress West Houston Vintage Car Meetup at the Twisty Treat on Fry Road in Cypress.
Nice.
I dated her one time. Oh, my God. It was just wonderful.
1997 and older cars for the cruise-in, no entry fee. The Rock and Roll Xmas Car Show at Oakmont Health and Rehab at 8450 Will Clayton Parkway in Humble.
Humble. Did you say humble?
He did, and he
Humble.
lives up there.
You had to do some digging to find some of these, huh?
There's nothing humble in Texas.
Okay, well, that's enough of that. It's time now to take a break, if you don't mind. Is that okay? I didn't mean to cut you short, but
You
we're
did.
running-
That's okay.
All right, thank you. In Will Time Car Talk Show streams on the iHeartRadio app and Facebook, YouTube at InWillTime.com. 30-minute podcasts available from your favorite podcast provider. In Will Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break.
Your friends and hosts of the quarterly Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In at the Lupi Tortilla in Katy want to thank you for participating in this year's events and look forward to another exciting year. You'll hear about the next Tailpipes and Tacos right here and online soon. Next time you're in West Houston, be sure and stop in at the original Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex near I-10 and Highway 6, or the Katy location off I-10 and the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard. Traveling east to Beaumont or northwest to College Station, you'll want to have Lupi's award-winning beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. There's always a celebration at Lupi Tortilla. Lupi founder Stan Holt and his wife Sheila are car people through and through. Both are winning racers on the NHRA drag racing circuit and have a collection of cars that everyone appreciates. You'll see one at the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In. The next event will be in the spring at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex on 99, the Grand Parkway and Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 and Katy. We'll give you all the details soon here on the In Will Time Car Talk Show and online. Want to take a minute to tell you about Gulf Coast Auto Shield, a Houston detail company like no other. Gulf Coast Auto Shield offers paint correction services that'll give your car, truck, or SUV a like-new shine. Afterwards, you'll want to protect it with a professionally installed nano-ceramic coating or protection film. Worried about your very expensive windshield getting damaged, broken, or cracked? Let Gulf Coast Auto Shield install Exo Shield, a windshield protection film. Give John Gray a call today or check out their website, gcautoshield.com. Hey, whether you own a new, ultra-expensive, exotic, or a 5-year-old Suburban, Gulf Coast Auto Shield will help keep your investment looking like the day it rolled off the assembly line. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is conveniently located on the South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of I-69, the Southwest Freeway. Meet the staff and check out all of their services online right now at gcautoshield.com.
From the Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Cruise In, it's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show Christmas edition. Just ahead, another guest from today's event. Conrad will have This Week in Auto History, and we'll get you updated on the stories making car news this week. Howdy, along with Mike out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong, we need more Jeff Seekin, and a special guest appearance by David Ainsley, our chief engineer. There he is back there in the back. Got to move the camera a little bit so we could get our new sign in, and we got a lot of things going on today. By the way, nobody even mentioned my nice haircut. I'm Don Armstrong, and glad you could join us today. All right, we're here, and we invite you to come, and we're starting to get a really nice collection. And, you know, I'm kind of surprised because it's chilly outside.
No, it's cold.
And it's cold, and it's cloudy, but the sun is supposed to poke through just as we're going off the air.
Yep.
So,
be bright and sunshiny all afternoon.
Heitzman is saying your head's occasionally popping out from behind the pole. So, wave at Jeff.
Don't get too far over to your other side.
okay,
Scoot over towards me, Donnie.
No, that's what I don't want to do. Okay, Mr. Mars.
So we were talking about it because he came in pretty early this morning, but I found out this is a very unique truck. This is a one-owner 1977 Chevrolet. Who's got?
Could you turn that down a little bit, please? Thank you.
Yeah. 1977 one-owner Chevrolet square body that belongs to Mr. Joey Dupree here.
A 1977 original owner.
Bought it in 1976.
What, were you 12 when you bought it?
17.
You were 17 when you bought it.
Senior year in high school.
And where'd you go to high school?
Madison.
Madison High School.
James Madison here in Texas, in Houston.
Westbury High School.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I worked at the fire station right across the street.
Did you?
48s for 24 years.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Well, I lived on Ashcroft. You know where that is?
I did.
And Don started fires for
I did not start any fires, thank God. But
you are hot.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Small world.
It is a small world, isn't it? Did you live in the area at the time? Did you move over there?
We lived off of Post Oak, farther south, on the other side of South Main.
Okay.
West Orem.
Okay, yeah.
My parents still live there.
Do they really?
Dad's 91, Mom's 87.
Oh my gosh!
Good for them.
Still in the hood.
So they heard all of the Saturday night races over at Meyer Speedway.
Oh,
Just
yes.
walk outside.
Yeah. Sure did. You could hear them in the distance.
Well, where did you buy your truck from?
A.J. Foyt.
A.J. Foyt on Post Oak.
in Belford.
Man, you don't get very far, do you?
No.
Yeah, A.J.
There's
Foyt.
a Kroger store there now.
Yes, and it was originally McRoberts Chevrolet. That's before your time.
Yeah. We moved to Houston in '68. So.
Yeah. So back in the early '60s, that original dealership was McRoberts Chevrolet.
Okay.
With the kilt and all of the mix stuff. I just thought I'd throw that
before
in
my
there.
time.
I know, thank you. Before everybody's time.
Send your comments to
No, we don't want
info@inwheeltime.com. The mix stuff.
So tell me about it. Did you pick it off the lot, or did you order it?
My dad slowed us. I had two buddies my senior year that already bought trucks.
Of course.
And I had a little grocery store job after school, and I had $2,500 that was burning my pockets. And I told him, Dad, I want my first car. I've been riding a motorcycle to work, to school and stuff. And he said, well, let's wait till the end of the year. They'll be wanting to get rid of those 76s. You'll get a better deal. It's killing me. Anyway, we waited till November, and we started looking. And went to like 6-7 dealerships, and nothing jumped out at me color-wise, payment-wise. Let's keep looking. We ended up at A.J. Foyt, and out of all the places we went, that was the closest to home.
Yep.
We started out and then came back.
Yep.
And I could picture the salesman walking out now. What can I do for you, gentlemen? Dad's like, just looking for a good deal on the 76. End of the year, y'all getting rid of them. give us a good deal. We got a 77 in. I looked at that. I said, "Whoa, we've been 6 days. Ain't nobody had a 77. Well, we just got it 3 days ago. We didn't even put it on the front lot yet. It's in the back. Let's go look."
Was there any difference between a 76 and a 77?
Just the color.
That's all.
Mainly.
Yeah.
And it came with big off-road tire. It looked four-wheel drive, even though it wasn't. So that's the reason for one of the roll bar that I have on it now. But yeah, it was 6,100 drive out. I put my 2,500 down. Back then, you only finance a car for 3 years, and my payments were $92 a month.
Oh my gosh!
You can't get one out of the junkyard for that.
That was a lot of money back then, though.
I know it was.
I mean, $100 a month. I'm like, oh, what did I get myself into?
My first Corvette was a 77 that I ordered, and it was $1,100. 11,000. Sorry, 11,000. I believe that's what the sticker was on it, and of course I paid the sticker price for it. But yeah, so we have that in common. We both bought 77s
77s,
with no horsepower. Does it have the original motor in it?
Oh no, this third motor.
Third motor.
Third motor.
How many miles are on it?
206,000. Oh wow!
But that's just on the odometer.
But you need to ask him about that motor.
Yeah.
Well, please.
Third motor's the first big block, and I always wanted a big block. I was fixing to retire from the Houston Fire Department, and so I got with my mechanic, and I said, I want a big block. And so he says, Shafroff.
Who? Shafroff.
Never heard of Shafroff.
No.
He's the Lingenfelter on the East Coast, up in New York.
Okay.
And nothing but bad.
Bad to the bone motors.
To the bone motors. You look at his website, it's like, holy cow.
How many cubic inches?
540.
540.
Yeah.
That's bad, all right.
It's a big
I mean,
block.
if you're going to go big,
Yeah.
go big.
Let's go for it.
Yeah.
And this is the street version of his 540 race engine. Made 700 horse on pump gas.
Oh my gosh!
They built it, dynoed it, crated it, and shipped it down to Texas from New York.
And you bought it.
I bought it.
And
he said, 2-year warranty. He said, get out there and tear it up. And I have for, it'll be 11 years old next month.
Wow, really?
No problems whatsoever. I think I've adjusted the valves twice. I just put a set of valve cover gaskets on it like 6 months ago.
Seriously? So you drive
Very
it
good.
a lot?
Oh, it's a weekend toy. Yeah. Get
Very
6
cool.
miles to the gallon.
6? Oh, my
With a tailwind going downhill.
Oh, my God. 6 miles to the
Carbureted or fuel injected?
Carbureted. Yeah. The other, like I said, it's third motor, and the other two were carbureted. I said, what the heck?
How big's the carburetor?
1050.
10.
It's huge.
I was
So
just going to
it's-
say.
It's like
a bucket.
It's
up
like
there.
shower head.
It's 6 gas stations to the mile is
Yeah,
what it
something
is.
like that. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Runs
But
great.
look how much he's smiling talking about it.
Well, I know. Yeah, as his pockets drain. Yeah. Did you drive it when we were having $5 a gallon gas?
I did. 569, I think was the. Oh gosh, it was terrible.
Yeah. And
Anything over 4 gallons, $4 a gallon, that really starts hurting.
does it have a 20-gallon tank in
20
it?
gallon tank.
20-gallon tank.
Fuel cell. Yeah, I had the gas tanks were on each side. The saddle tanks were on each side of the
Yep.
bed, and they drew the fuel out of the front of the tank next to the cab. So with 700 horse, you put your foot in it, that
It all
gas goes
sloshing
to the back.
Yep.
yeah.
And by top into second gear, I'm spitting and sputtering and hollering. Give me some gas. Give me some gas. I spent all that money and it runs like crap.
So you
know?
still had a mechanical
So-
fuel pump on it.
Yeah. So I
Have you
put a-
changed it over to a
Electric.
electric pump? Yeah. You don't have that problem anymore.
Not anymore.
But what is the pump about the size of the 540
It's
cubic
a-
inch engine?
Well, he worked for the fire department. Pump size doesn't matter.
And you can get hoses all day long.
There you go. Big fat hose.
Yeah. And so you got a fuel cell. Where is the fuel cell? Is it?
In the bed by the tailgate, and I get a lot of funny looks at the gas station. I pop it, and I have it's polished aluminum, so it looks pretty. I put a fender cover over it, and I'm back there getting gas.
Right.
And
Now is it flush
what are
with
you
the
doing?
bed?
No,
It
no.
just sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't bother.
That way, when the wheelie bars make
It's-
contact,
yeah.
it's good to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
No
All
sparking.
the sparks back
Yeah,
there.
spark it up.
So have we done any suspension work to that thing?
Quite a bit.
Have you?
Because all the torque from the motor, it was acting stupid.
I was
a lot
going
of
to
times
say,
on a quarter mile and stuff.
Not a
It's like,
grommets.
So have you had it to the track? How fast is it?
1195 is my best time.
Wow.
It weighs 4,300 pounds without me in it. So Yeah. Once it gets going.
The street tires,
Hang
those
on.
street
Yeah,
tires
street
you got
tires.
on it. It's
Yeah.
got some big need on it.
I didn't
but
buy
it's
it.
street
I
tires.
didn't build it to race it, but I mean,
You do. I didn't build it to race it. That's why I've got this ginormous 700 horsepower motor under the head.
Exactly.
And,
Yeah.
and 55-gallon tires, 55-gallon
and going
barrel
along with
tires.
that same idea that he didn't build it to race it. Let's talk about your shifter for your
oh yeah,
transmission.
there you go. That's my.
What kind of transmission have you got on it?
It's a 4L80. Just
So you got overdrive.
built 480. Yeah, it's bad to the bone to hold up to the horsepower. then
And you
some.
put it. That's an automatic.
Automatic.
And so,
Overdrive.
why did you not want to shift it yourself? Bad knees?
No, just easier.
You didn't want
It's
to
been
jack
automatic
with it.
the whole but
But go ahead, tell him.
I took the shifter off the column 20-something years ago
Yeah.
and put a B&M and had it for 20 years. And then like 2 years ago, I was surfing the internet, hot rod stuff, and I ran across this guy in California, killed this machine that builds lightning rods.
Yes.
Shifters. It's a
Old school lightning rods.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, I've got to have that.
just looking at the
So-
at the parking lot. You've been to Coffee and Chrome, haven't you?
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's where I noticed your truck. Okay, yeah.
Been there numerous
I
times.
know the truck. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And so wheeled and dealed with him and bought it and pulled the B&M out, threw that in. And, it's
Well,
it's a conversation piece.
I was just going to say
People
because
think, "What the
you never
world?"
see those anymore.
No.
Lightning rod.
Looks like an old school
shifter.
pro stocker.
Yeah, it does.
It's got 4 knobs, first, second,
Yes.
third, fourth.
Oh, yes.
Manually shifting an automatic transmission. And it's beefed up to take it.
How
Yeah.
fun.
It is. It is different.
And lightning rods were standard equipment in the 83 and 84 Oldsmobile Hurst Olds.
Seriously. I did not know that. Of course, you would.
3
know that.
rods.
Something you might see in a Nova or Camaro or something like that at the track, but in a truck on the street, it's like, holy cow. You know?
Yeah, because you look at that, you think, oh, well, it's manual transmission.
I call it anti-theft.
There's that. You know, who knows how to run?
You can't steal it if you can't drive it.
That's right.
So you have family members that drive it. You got a wife that drives it or anything? Or?
My wife hadn't sat in that truck in 5 years probably.
Wow.
In fact, I ordered that motor with air conditioning so she would come to stuff like this with me. And
No,
it don't happen.
it doesn't happen.
Doesn't happen. So
So it's got a serpentine accessory drive on it
correct.
that is built for AC.
Yeah.
Does it have AC on it?
Yes. And it never gets used.
It's
I mean,
just used to.
I don't even use it. I mean, I got a sunroof in the truck. That was one of the steering wheel that's on it, the sunroof, and the roll bar are the first 3 things I bought for it, probably 1978, right after I had the truck. And they're all 3 still on there.
Were you one of those guys that, you know, when you were on duty, whatever, 3 or 4 days at a time, out there washing his truck and stuff like that?
It got washed more at the fire station than it did at home.
Yeah.
You know, use their water, not mine.
Yeah, exactly. How fun. How is retirement? How long you been retired now?
11 years.
Seriously, 11 years.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. In fact, Charlie, guy you just talked to with the 41, he's a retired firefighter also.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
he and I.
You know, when
we
I
covered
cover
a lot of shows
when I
together.
cover fires, I'm always so impressed with the Houston Fire Department. I don't know what you think of the Houston Fire Department, but I tell you what, they've got a training program over there that is really awesome.
Top notch.
Yeah, top notch. And when they go fight fires, it doesn't matter if it's a house fire with cut a hole in the roof or it's some massive structure fire. Those guys know what they're doing.
They do.
And it's truly amazing to watch that. So, at any rate. Well, this has been a great conversation. I was going to say, you know, I think that you'd have a really good time on the Hot Rod Power Tour of Texas. But boy, I'll tell
I'd
you
have to
what,
float
that,
alone.
I just got to say,
I was going to say, you'll have to keep up.
well, the keeping up wouldn't be the problem. It would be the gas stops.
That's what I mean. Keep up because he's going to have to stop and get gas
Yeah.
more often.
I live here in Katy, and I went to a car show in Galveston one time,
Ooh.
and it took 3 tanks.
What?
Oh my God!
3 20-gallon
Hey,
tanks to
you
get
know,
there and back.
I think his next modification should be that 862 thing that GM tried.
Yeah,
No.
it's Cadillac
Well,
and
the
Olds.
4L80 probably helped.
Oh, it helps a lot, yeah. I can 65 on the freeway. I'm turning like 2,400 RPM.
Well, if you need to start a
That's not
GoFundMe or something for, you know, it's coming up in the spring, so you can start a GoFundMe and then have
That's
money for
right.
gas.
Or what is your daily driver? What kind of car do you have?
96 Impala.
A 96
In
Impala.
fact,
And you know what? It is just prime ready for a trailer hitch. Hook up the trailer, put the truck on the back of it, and go for it.
There you go.
I got an answer for everything.
Truck's more fun to drive.
Yeah, I've never put her under the trailer queen category.
That's good. That's good. I did the trailer queen thing for a couple of years and wound up selling the car. That was just not a good move.
Kept the queen.
The B&M
and
shifter.
kept the queen.
The B&M shifter I took out of the truck when I put the lightning rods. I put it in the Impala.
Did you? He's got a 96 Impala.
I bought it in
B&M
2000, so I've had it 22 years, and I've had the truck 46. So
Now, do you do all this work yourself?
a lot of it.
Yeah.
I have a mechanic buddy of mine. We grew up together since elementary school, and he's helped me quite a bit. And when I wasn't at the fire station, I could help him.
What elementary
do
school
stuff.
did you go to?
Windsor Village.
That's a long haul.
From here, yeah.
Well, from where Madison High
Oh,
School
yeah.
in that area.
Yeah. We live right around the corner from where my parents still do, around the corner from Windsor Village.
Oh, okay.
And then I went to Dowling, Dick Dowling,
Yep.
junior high in Madison.
Wow. Well, we were close
Yeah. Not
because
that
it was
far apart.
Andy Anderson,
Across the tracks.
Andy Anderson, and there was also Albert Sidney Johnston Junior High School at the time. It's not that anymore. And Wasteberry.
Wasteberry.
Yeah, Wasteberry.
With Wally Wasto.
Yep, that's it. It's great to talk to you. Great to meet you.
Yeah, good to be here.
You know, I'm surprised that we haven't actually crossed paths at Chrome and Coffee because Craig's a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
And so we'll see you there next month.
Yeah, and I've seen his truck there many times. Yeah.
Well, now that we know each other.
So if you need anything re-chromed, see Bierman.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And they do some pretty good work.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
They do.
Well, it's great to talk to you. Thanks so much for stopping by.
Sure.
And hang out. Get you some coffee. They got coffee and stuff in there.
I ain't got my breakfast yet.
Okay.
I'll go get that.
All right. Great talking to you. Thanks again. Appreciate it. All right. We have other things that we want to get going. Conrad has This Week in Auto History. Before you get to that, I did want to remind everybody that we'd love to hear from you. All you got to do is shoot us an email. The address is info@inwheeltime.com. And if you're wondering where we are today, we are coming to you live from the Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition Cruise In out here at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy. And that is on Highway 99, the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, which is the first exit south of I-10,
Bring
the
a
Katy
toy.
Freeway. Bring a toy, get a free taco.
So this week in auto history, in 1915, the 1,000,000th Model T was produced.
Wow.
It was a triumph for Henry Ford. And you got to remember, he built.
He
what
built
was it?
Triumphs too?
No. But they built 15 million by 1929.
And 14 million were still on the road.
And well, I've got more to that story. Yeah, 14 million of them could still be on the road. But you know, the speed and efficiency of Ford's factories made automobiles cheaper than ever. You got to remember, a Model T in its day was under $1,000, and Ford wanted to build a car that was affordable, not affordable, but affordable to the general population.
And he did.
Yep. And the way he made them cheaper was he was the first one with a moving assembly line that was quite revolutionary at the Highland Park plant. The wood crates that certain components were delivered in, Ford gave a design specification of the wood crate, and the wood from the crate was reused for the vehicle elsewhere because basically the body of the vehicle, the chassis of the vehicle was wood, and then metal was attached to it, and that's how the body
And some
was
parts of
attached
like
to
the door and inside the fenders, like bracing.
it. Was all.
And I understand that he built the factory up there in Dearborn because he was in the woods, chopped down all the trees to use in the cars.
And he bought his own rubber
That was
tree
in South America.
plantation.
Fordlandia.
And then there was a place up in the Upper Peninsula where he had bought this huge tract of land to get the wood from. So he was trying to manage all aspects of his cost of production. You know, he had his own electric facility electric production facility there at River Rouge. And they did all their own foundry work as well. It's pretty amazing.
And
how
the waste material was used for heating and providing power to the plant as well.
So, pretty innovative. In 1939, the first production Lincoln Continental was finished this week. Prototypes of the touring car had already been driven, but Lincoln Continentals of the 40s are commonly considered some of the most beautiful production cars ever made. Today, the Lincoln Continental remains one of the world's most popular luxury cars. In 1969, the first 1970 Chevy SS LS6 was built, and that was the 454, 450 horsepower big block Chevelle. The first Chevelle SS rolled off the assembly line at the Baltimore assembly plant.
Baltimore.
A GM executive ordered it as his own demonstrator, and when he received it, he found somebody had scribbled 2 notes on the build sheet. Pilot job, and if it had wings, it would fly. It was the highest, in its day, it was the highest rated horsepower vehicle in production in the United States.
That's cool.
At 450 horsepower. Quite collectible today.
I'll say. Well, didn't they put that motor in the Corvette?
Yeah, but it was later, and it was very, very few of them went into Corvettes.
Yeah.
I want to say, I want to say there was 2 of them that actually made it in Corvettes, but you had to order it. It was a Copo order. And then in 1949, a Swedish company by the name of Svenska Aeroplan Aktiebolaget.
Wait,
this is one I generally save for
me.
Svenska Aeroplan Aktiebolaget.
Doodah.
They produced their first motor car, and in 1965, the concern changed its name to Saab.
Oh, my
Saab,
God. Oh, no. We went through all of that to go to the Saab.
To get to
name?
the Saab.
Ah.
Now you got to remember, early Saabs were 2-strokes.
I'm sobbing over this story.
I had a stroke, actually,
I'm
one
tearing
time.
up.
The only time that I drove
Crying
ridden
over
in
here.
one, I didn't drive it.
Don't
It was
sob.
awful. What a horrible car.
They were, you had to add gas and oil at the same time.
Oh, it was just awful. Just awful.
In
I knew somebody that actually owned a Saab.
Oh, yeah.
And it was in the shop all the time.
I was responsible for Saab when I worked for General Motors, because you got to remember GM purchased Saab
that was
as
a brilliant
Saab was
move.
going out of business.
Yeah.
Another wonderful decision by GM senior management. Lee Iacocca became the president of Ford Motor Company this week in 1970. Iacocca joined Ford as an engineer in the 40s and quickly moved into the marketing department, where he gained influence quickly as the driving force behind the Ford Mustang. Iacocca, and not just the Mustang, but also the original, the short wheelbase Ford Bronco. Iacocca was eventually ousted from Ford in 1978 because of conflicts with Henry, not Jr., what was it, Henry III?
Edsel?
And Lee Iacocca went on to become president of the struggling Chrysler Corporation, and was definitely the one who saved Chrysler from collapse with the government bailout loan that they actually paid back. Hear that, Mary? Chrysler paid back their government loan. You never did.
What do you call him?
Go ahead.
And in 1981, Mitsubishi Motors, the automotive division of the huge Mitsubishi conglomerate of Japan, began selling cars in the United States under its own name. Previously, Mitsubishi had done business in the States, but only in partnerships with other companies, one of them being Chrysler with the Diamond Motor the Diamond Motor Star cars.
That it?
Mm-hmm.
That was good. It's always good. I like it when you do that.
Good. It's good
All right.
when it's good.
Got a couple of headlines I want to read to you. Ford Motor Company on Thursday said the 2024 Mustang, due out next year, will generate up to 486 horsepower and 418 pound-feet of torque from what it's calling its best 5-liter Coyote V8 engine to date. The new Dark Horse Performance variant, featuring a uniquely tuned V8, will pack even more ponies. Ford says it'll get 500 horsepower, 418 pound-feet of torque, which Ford said will be its most powerful non-Shelby Mustang. The 2.3-liter EcoBoost engine will generate 315 horsepower, 350 pound-feet of torque. Ford said that's the most power ever out of a 4 or 6-cylinder in a Mustang. Vehicle set to go on sale next summer. It'll continue to be built at the Flat Rock Assembly Plant in Michigan. Speaking of Ford, Ford has raised the price of the cheapest variant of the F-150 Lightning electric truck
again
9% to $55,974, according to the company's website. Automaker has raised prices for its electric pickup trucks twice in 3 months as it navigates higher costs and supply chain snags, as they call
When
it.
they announced that, didn't they say it was going to be 40 grand?
Yes. Oops.
Nobody's going to see 40 grand for it.
Yeah. Who paid 40 grand for it?
Nobody.
Because they're rich today.
Yep.
Yeah. There's some other stories that I want to get to. Let me do this particular one. It's a recall. Subaru issuing a recall on select model year 2019 through 2022 Subaru Ascent vehicles due to increased risk of fire. Owners are urged to park their vehicles outside away from structures and avoid leaving the vehicle unattended while the engine is running.
Bring the s'mores. My Subaru's burning.
Owners should continue to park their vehicles outdoors and away from other vehicles or buildings, even if the vehicle is turned off. If the owner notices or smells smoke coming from the dash or driver's footwell area, they should immediately stop the vehicle and turn the ignition off and run for your lives.
Does it say that?
I'm sorry.
You made that up.
Yeah, that Tourette's thing.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
man.
It just
That
just
was
slipped.
good, though.
Yeah,
That
it just slipped right out. I couldn't help myself.
So, General Motors has been running these self-driving autonomous taxis in San Francisco. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is looking into an unexpected braking experience in those self-driving taxis as part of a safety regulation. As part of the safety regulators are investigating reports of robo-taxis run by GM that can stop too quickly and unexpectedly quit moving, potentially stranding passengers. 3 rear-end collisions that were reported took place after the Cruise
In
autonomous
San
vehicles.
Francisco.
Rear-end collisions.
I'm sorry.
And where was he for 3 weeks?
Never mind. At the Pelosi house.
The
Getting hammered.
autonomous vehicles braked hard and kicking off the probe, according to NHTSA.
Okay. Time now for a quick break. We'll be right back. You're on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show on iHeartRadio. Stay with us.
Your friends and hosts of the quarterly Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In at the Lupi Tortilla in Katy want to thank you for participating in this year's events and look forward to another exciting year. You'll hear about the next Tailpipes and Tacos right here and online soon. Next time you're in West Houston, be sure and stop in at the original Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex near I-10 and Highway 6, or the Katy location off I-10 and the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard. Traveling east to Beaumont or northwest to College Station, you'll want to have Lupi's award-winning beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. There's always a celebration at Lupi Tortilla. Lupi founder Stan Holt and his wife Sheila are car people through and through. Both are winning racers on the NHRA drag racing circuit and have a collection of cars that everyone appreciates. You'll see one at the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In. The next event will be in the spring at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex on 99, the Grand Parkway and Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 and Katy. We'll give you all the details soon here on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show and online. Want to take a minute to tell you about Gulf Coast Auto Shield, a Houston detail company like no other. Gulf Coast Auto Shield offers paint correction services that'll give your car, truck, or SUV a like-new shine. Afterwards, you'll want to protect it with a professionally installed nano-ceramic coating or protection film. Worried about your very expensive windshield getting damaged, broken, or cracked? Let Gulf Coast Auto Shield install ExoShield, a windshield protection film. Give John Gray a call today or check out their website, gcautoshield.com. Hey, whether you own a new, ultra-expensive, exotic, or a 5-year-old Suburban, Gulf Coast Auto Shield will help keep your investment looking like the day it rolled off the assembly line. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is conveniently located on the South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of I-69, the Southwest Freeway. Meet the staff and check out all of their services online right now at gcautoshield.com. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Wheel Time Car Talk.
It's your place to go for entertaining car talk. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show today coming to you from the Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Cruise In at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, Texas. Just ahead, a special guest.
Santa.
Santa is here. Jeff has a feature on the top 6 most embarrassing car designs.
Yeah.
Can't wait for that.
Oh, boy.
And later we'll have the stories making automotive news headlines along with Conrad's Car Clinic. It's all straight ahead. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World, Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We always need more Jeff Zekin.
Freezing his you-know-what off.
And His Majesty, David Ainsley, our chief engineer and
Bottle washer.
bottle washer.
Potentate.
Head potentate. That's it. Joining us now in the Loopy Tortilla Studios at the Cruise In, the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In this morning, is the founder of Loopy Tortilla and my dear friend, Mr. Stan Holt. It's good to see you.
Oh, thank you. I normally don't speak until I get my green M&Ms, but I'll go ahead. They're on the way.
Green M&Ms.
Wow. Is that what you kids are calling it now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Stan, there's lots of things that I wanted to talk to you about on the show today. And besides the car.
Oh, I know what it is. It's payment, right? We haven't made the payment?
Well, I was going to save that till the end of the show. but it wasn't that.
Oh.
I wanted to talk to you because we've had this discussion amongst us, and that discussion was Loopy Tortilla. Okay? And I know that you've told me the story, but nobody else seems to know. And it's not that it's a well-kept secret or anything, but I just find the story is pretty fascinating. And I know that back in the 1980s, you pretty much worked your butt off all the time, almost 24/7.
That's where it went. That's where it went.
That's where it went, yeah. And it was just down the street a little bit, down at Loopy 1, the original Loopy Tortilla down there, right at Highway 6 and I-10. And I wanted to get your real story about how it started. Where did the idea come from to start a Mexican restaurant?
First of all, I would just clear something up. It wasn't 1983. It was 1893. So
Dyslexic.
People mess that up all the time.
Sorry about that.
I had my first restaurant was a steak and barbecue joint named after my dad, my grandfather, my great-grandfather, and my brother, called W.T. Holtz. And it was right behind the original Loopy's.
Yep.
And there was a tea room where Loopy's is called the Ant and the Grasshopper.
Yep.
I think their biggest month was $16,000, which is like an ugly Thursday now.
Well, ants don't eat much.
They don't.
Neither do grasshoppers.
They don't. Well, as it turned out, the grasshoppers ate the ants, and so it was pretty much doomed to get-go.
But it's funny. I remember the Ant and the Grasshopper. I never went there, but I remember the ads.
That's why.
You never went there dressed like this.
Correct. Yeah.
Anyway, they were going to close it, and so my landlord at the time, you remember Charlie's Hamburgers?
Yes.
Charles Walden and I had become friends, and he knew about my idea that I had with this Mexican restaurant called Lupi Tortillas. And in the summers, I'd come visit my dad and my stepmom, and they always had some little Mexican. They lived in Houston, and I lived in California. They always had some little Mexican restaurant in a frame house that they went to,
Right.
And that's where the concept was in my mind. And interestingly enough, the place was called La Fonda, and for some reason they got rid of it and put the Transco Tower there. What a waste of property.
Yeah.
What were they thinking?
Go figure.
Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of where the concept in my mind was growing up eating in those places. And on Alameda, my stepdad's favorite place was El Patio. Didn't have anything but yellow light bulbs in the whole restaurant. I remember that. And it was 2 blocks from our house, so we could walk. The name Lupi Tortilla came from my stepdad. And he had he used a car lot in Rosenberg. And hence the car thing. I've been around cars, car business all my life. And he had, back then they called them porters, who would take care, clean the cars.
Absolutely.
So on and so
I was a
forth.
porter.
You were a porter?
Yeah.
So his name was Manuel.
Okay.
And so he called him Manuel Labor.
Manuel Labor. Uh-huh.
True story, his wife was the one that cleaned the offices, and her name was Lupi. So it was Manuel Labor and Lupi Tortilla. And that's where the name came from. So I remember that from I was 5 years old. So we lived in Houston, but we'd drive on the weekends to the car lot in Rosenberg. And he would give us a little cup.
Back when that was a drive, as opposed to today, where
Yeah.
it's just next door.
Yeah, oh, it was a long drive, as I remember.
Yes, it was.
Up 90, I think.
Yes.
Anyway, when we'd get there, which had nothing to do with Lupi's, he would give us a little cup with Bonami in it, a little water, and our job was to take scuff marks off of white walls, which were 6 inches wide at the time. So anyway, I grew up hearing that name,
Child
Lupi Tortilla.
labor.
Child labor, yeah. At any rate, I told him as I grew up, I had the first restaurant. I said, if I ever open a Mexican restaurant, I'm going to call it Lupi Tortillas, and that was just kind of a family joke. So anyway, it happened, and I spent about 6 months working on recipes. Ate my way through San Antonio and Houston, and I came up with 18 recipes. And my concept was I'd have the basic Tex-Mex, enchilada rice beans, but I wanted homemade everything. And nobody was doing homemade tortillas at that time, even Ninfa. I think Papacitas had a machine that made them. There was a woman named Alba Garcia and Gregorio Yanez, who's still with me.
I know Gregorio,
Yeah,
yes.
he's still with me. And he and I are the same age. But anyway, Alba really helped me through these recipes. And plus what I had read, there's a cookbook by Maria Kennedy, of all things.
You still have the cookbook?
I owe it right on my desk, called The Cuisine de Mexico. And I read it. And it's, 2.5, 3 inch thick book. And kind of a coffee table book with a lot of recipes. And so I came up with 18 items in the salsa. And I had a bartender who had worked for, what's it called, El Toro, I think, on Westheimer.
Yeah.
And they had a similar salsa, kind of a diluted version. And he gave me that recipe, and I tweaked with the recipe and so on and so forth. But my best recipe story is when I went to San Antonio to buy the plates that you use sizzling fajitas on.
Yeah.
There was only 3 restaurants in Houston serving fajitas. Even Ninfa wasn't. She was serving tacos al carbon. But it was me, Merida, and Dona Rocky. And I went to San Antonio, and I liked the presentation of La Margarita in the Mercado. Yeah. The sizzling deal that came out. So when I was buying the plates at the United Meat Market in San Antonio, the only place in maybe the world, but I know for sure in Texas you could get them. And Cliff Halpin, who started Saltgrass, gave me a lead where I could go find them. Excuse me. So when I was up there, there was a elderly Mexican gentleman with the guayabera on and the straw hat and the little pencil mustache, and he says, "Do you have a recipe for fajitas?" I said, "No." It's like at that time, who cares, And he said, "Well, I have the best one in the world." I said, well, give it to me. No. Everybody has to get their own. So before I left, he wrote it on a matchbook cover and gave it to me.
You still have the matchbook?
No, I don't. I wish I did. That'd be great, wouldn't it? I'd frame it. Anyway, I went back and we're working on the other recipes. We had them pretty well where we wanted them to be. Trying this sizzling fajita thing. It was loaded with salt. Oh my gosh! And already by '83, this was December of '83, salt was not popular. Oh my! I took all the salt out of it because lime was tart enough, without any salt. Salt brings out the flavor in meat. That's what it was there for. But he didn't need 2 fistfuls,
Right.
So he took that out, refined the recipe, and it just people went crazy for it. It's olive oil, fresh squeezed lime juice, garlic salt, fistful of black pepper, but the challenge was it had a little bit of water in it, and all of that would want to separate. You had this little bain marie, so you're always stirring it. So Judd had gone to culinary school in New York and learned a lot about everything. He said, Dad, we need to emulsify that. I went, I can't spell emulsify, much less emulsify.
Yes.
He said it's a real simple process, but what it did, it kept everything in suspension. That was in 92. So we went from 83 to 92 with the original recipe, but people were waiting in line for it. It had 50 seats in the restaurant. And the day we opened, I was in the kitchen cooking with Alba and Gregorio, getting ready to open December 9th, 83. And one of the young managers came to me and said, Mr. Holt, you need to come to the front. I said, do I look like I have time to come to the front? We were going to open a restaurant. She says, I think you need to come to the front. So I went to the front. There was a line out the door to the sidewalk, and then went to the left to the mailbox of the person next door. And we hadn't even opened. So that's the way it started. It had never changed. It was that busy from right out of the gate. And people were, those fajitas like they were on crack, they just, and the waits got to be, before the end of that year, on Friday and Saturday, be 2.5, maybe 3 hours.
Wow.
Whoa. And so I started added the first patio. And on a Thursday night, it would be an hour and a half. Monday would be an hour. With 50 seats, That's
every restaurant owner's dream.
Yeah.
Did you ever dream that it would grow that quickly and that popular so fast?
No.
Did you ever dream that?
No, that would have been arrogant. No. And what was arrogant is that, not my wildest dreams I wouldn't have. But I'll tell you the truth, and I have to, or I'll probably have a horrible car wreck on the way home. W.T. Holtz was like $1.2 million a year restaurant, and I was making a living, And I'd kind of gotten away from my Christian roots when I got involved in the restaurant business and, over drinking and get there at 8 and leave at midnight.
You?
No, well, that was a different time. That was
It was Tuesday.
No, it was Wednesday. Anyway, I really did. I just said, you know what? This is going to be a joint venture between you and I, and I'm not going to worry about it. It's the best I can. But I was so committed to quality that people were angry. They didn't want to wait that long after waiting to get a table. I said, well, we're going as fast as we can without disturbing the quality. They'll just have to leave. And I've stood that ground and stood it. Until finally they started helping me. Customers would. They'd explain to people they were bringing. If you have the patience to wait and you're not too drunk you don't remember the food, for waiting that long, it'll be worth the wait. And so I touched every plate that left the kitchen. And for years.
You were the expediter as the owner.
Well, I was actually, Gregorio and I were cooking, and we were doing the fajitas. And Alba was kind of the salad girl. She'd trim the plates and everything. But we have 3 shelves, and intentionally a very small area. The bottom shelf was for hot, second shelf was for cold, and the top shelf for rejects. We had no dialogue. So I'm looking at a piece of a plate that's not right, it's stuck to the top window. And the quarterback, Alba, was just, she knew, no, what's wrong? Nothing. No, just make another one now, get it caught up. And so that was it. That's still true today. That's the way it still works. So,
did I ever meet Alba?
She was only there 6 months. she worked for me in the barbecue joint, and she worked there 6 months. So I think that was kind of her MO.
Gotcha.
But I'm forever grateful to her. She opened a restaurant down the street that didn't work well, you know. But that's kind of the short story, you know. And I kept adding porches, and you know, the first bar I went to Builder Square. Do you remember Builder
I
Square?
remember Builder Square. Sure.
For $49.99, they had a build-it-yourself, assemble-yourself workbench.
Yep.
It came with the screws, the boards already cut, everything was ready to go. You said screw it together. And I got a wash tub on the front porch and filled it full of beer and a bucket. And the first margaritas had a hint of garlic taste to them because that's what was in the bucket. And a ladle and some plastic cups. And I think the margaritas were $4 at the time. And he had a box, just a little, like a cigar box. And he would just throw the money in there and make change out of it. We wouldn't take credit cards right there. Anyway, we just kept adding on to it. And I think right now there's 180 seats in the restaurant. And our first year we did $600,000. And I got to keep some of that.
For a 50-seat place, that's amazing.
It was amazing. And the second year was 800, and we added a porch. It was $1 million. Third year. This year it's going to do just barely south of $6 million.
Wow.
And the kitchen is 25 feet by 25 feet.
And you know,
it's amazing.
And I'll tell you this, that I obviously don't know, I didn't know all that story, but when I take people there, I said, if I were to take you back to the kitchen, you would not believe. Nobody could ever believe that kitchen is that small.
Nobody moves. And you get in your spot.
That's
just
right.
Turn.
And as the industry has evolved, that's now small kitchens are in. And it's called economy of motion. Nobody moves. I finished my part, hand it forward, and it just 3 layers goes out the window.
Yep. Now, every time we go to, every time we go to Lupe One with Don, he tells a story. If this wall was here and this wall was that, and
well,
that
the original house, I think,
the original house
is such an attraction to me.
Yeah.
Because I know that's where you started, and if you go into the original Lupe Tortilla, you can still see the outside of the house. Of course,
yes.
You know, windows have been taken out and that sort of stuff here and there.
Windows or doors, but where you're sitting right now, I duplicated the original in its current state as close as I can, but with ADA rules and so forth, it had to swell. You know?
Yes.
And so, but if you'll look, the same lap siding on this building that's on the original.
Right.
And if you look over here, it's a different kind of siding. And we carried that on through because we were going to add on something. We had to do it at night and in the morning, early in the mornings.
To not interrupt.
Yeah, not to disrupt business.
And we were closed Saturday for lunch at the time, and we were closed Saturday all day Sunday. So Chris Bell, who's still with me, he would say, I can't find that siding. I forget anything. So you got that. And the next time it'd be something else. On and on and on. So anyway, that's why it looks like a patchwork quilt.
Well, but you know, and when I take them here, all of your restaurants are patterned after the original house.
Yep.
The rooms,
yes,
and the way that it flows through the restaurant might not make a lot of sense to some people that go into a box restaurant.
But if they've been to the number one store,
but it adds to the charm, and it's a very inviting atmosphere.
It is. It's not like walking into a big room where there's 50 people in the big room.
Right.
You can't hear yourself thinking and talking because it's a little more homey.
Intimate, yes.
Intimate.
When I started, the restaurant business wasn't a science like it is today.
Correct.
My boys have evolved away from this look because if we don't, and even I have moved with the times, you know, in my mind, that's what happened to Ninfas and Los Tios. They were stuck at, this is what we do. And the business continues to evolve as an industry, and Mexican food evolve. And now we're dealing with a whole new customer. Our new young customers, they don't even pick up a menu. They throw their phone on the table, shoot that, look at the menu.
Yep.
They do it on the way here. They're ready to order when they sit down. So it's a whole new world, and you have to embrace it. And I think that's what the boys are doing. They have to embrace it.
See, that's where we go wrong, Don. We generally have maybe 2 margaritas.
Well,
and then,
that's usually where things
and
start
then
to go
we,
south.
have to evolve.
Right off the bat.
Yeah.
Eventually, you just eliminate the lime juice and,
And the fajitas and just keep drinking.
keep drinking.
Just some chips, please.
There was probably some of that in the recipes too, but I was so committed and still am to the quality of what we do. And I challenge you, go any place, anywhere, and you'll never find a chip like ours that's not greasy. And I accidentally figured out what causes it. So all you Mexican guys are listening to me, the oil has to be clean, fresh, and 275 degrees. And so, the girls that are making the chips or guys, they want to take the huge baskets full and dump them in. But what happens, it brings the fryer temperature down.
Yeah.
And then you come out and they're greasy. And so I said, you have to do it in small batches. It's one hand.
Wow.
Isn't it easier just to open the plastic bag?
No,
it
it's
is.
not.
You can, on your way out of here to go be employed elsewhere, you can do that. It's so much easier. Yeah, I actually caught somebody the other night cooking fajitas in advance, and cooking to order has been our mantra for the day I open. And I said, why don't you just put it on the steam table and going home,
Oh.
So,
Wow.
yeah, anyway.
Well,
speaking of, here goes the oldest son and his wife walking in.
She just drove in a 70 model convertible, a
Things
red
have-
one.
Things have slowed down.
I want. Can you join us at the bottom of the hour here
I'd love to.
and talk about your car collection?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Okay,
I'd love
because we featured the 38 Buick in our booth at Autorama. I don't know as if you made it down there or not.
I tried. I couldn't make it.
Well, I couldn't either because
was a
I
hit.
was sick.
And
But-
Bad Chad wanted to cut it up and make something out of it.
And Bad Chat, it's
Put an LS in it and airbag it.
Yeah.
Not his style, but yeah.
yeah. That was a great interview. I'll tell you about it sometime. But I will tell you that the 38 Ford, there was nothing like it in there, and it got rave reviews.
And
a
guy that has a car show should know the difference between a Buick and a Ford. Don't you
would
think? I
think.
mean, it's a minor thing.
what I was
Unless,
Yeah. It was a Buick.
unless you're the car owner and driving home in someone's Ford.
Well, it was that was not a.
Well, he was sick that day.
Could have
so.
sold it to some of the guys from the lowrider group came over there.
Boy,
We could have
that-
sold it 3 times.
That's not for sale, but it would make a great lowrider, wouldn't it? Wow, that's a thought.
That bustle back is.
Up on 3 wheels.
I could leave it stock, but airbag it. That would be very, very cool.
My God,
You
I
probably
can't
know
even.
somebody who'd do that for you.
I
too.
do. I do. I got a friend.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
If you have an opportunity, I don't know what you have planned, but I know Judd and Peter are here. I'd like to hear one of them tell you about the evolution of the restaurant and where they're taking it and so forth.
Yeah.
It's very exciting to be the founder of this little tiny company because they just opened restaurant number 30.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's a lot. High school, that's a lot. It's really something.
Where is that at?
New Brunswick.
Okay.
That's the last one, and it's purported to just be a mega Loopies. I mean, just huge volume because that used to be some distance between Austin and San Antonio, and
Now it's just on the way.
grown together.
Yeah.
So it's exciting.
Is there? Have you opened up something in Dallas?
I think there's 6 in the Dallas-Fort Worth.
Oh wow.
area.
Okay, I did not know that.
New
Three-
Braunfels.
there's
I'm thinking road
3
trip.
Yeah, 3 in Austin. And,
Beaumont.
Beaumont. Yeah.
I've eaten at the one in Beaumont.
Well, thanks. Beaumont, obviously we opened that. That's where Sheila's from the Golden Triangle. She's from Orange. And we
So is
kinda-
Mike.
So, yeah, kind of opened that, for that market in that area because her family and friends and people she'd grown up with were there. Not a good reason to open a restaurant. It started off very, very slow. And but we projected low numbers and so forth. But it's up to speed now. It's really doing well.
Jaime.
Bless his heart. Jaime, hope he's not listening. He wants more money all the time. So. But I stopped in there unannounced. I hadn't been there in 5 or 6 weeks. Unannounced, coming back from Louisiana. Pulled in. Don, I'm telling you, it looked exactly like I was running it. From the pantry to the walk-in cooler to walk the food line.
Like it was supposed to.
Like it's supposed to.
Good they followed the model.
When the shift was over, it looked like a hospital room. It
I
just
think Jaime's getting more
spiky.
money.
Well,
He has earned it.
He's earning what he's getting.
Yeah.
so when Stan enticed me off of the circuit of the NHRA to help him with the catering at the time.
And stay home.
and stay home, yeah. That was in 2007.
Wow.
And he and I were going through similar battles, personal battles at the time. And he says, Don, I want you to handle the catering for me. I said, okay. And he put me with a couple of guys. One of them was Jaime. The other was Mikey. And we went out and killed it. And they taught me more than anybody did, and especially Jaime. And great guys to work with. I'll never forget it. And it was just a great, memorable time. And it kind of helped solidify our relationship. And it was a good time, but taught me the loopy tortilla way. And there were a couple of hiccups along the way. I didn't know how it would
Don
really.
hiccups?
Oh,
no,
yeah.
I can't believe that.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, that at that time when we were going through these personal issues, would have been a great time to buy Jack Daniel's stock.
Stock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're risen like the tide. It was an interesting time.
It was an interesting
There's some
time.
stories we can tell off the air.
Yes, exactly.
Stay tuned.
I got it. Not to change the subject. I always got to say hello to my buddy and world champion Jerry Emmons. They always listen to your show.
Yep.
They're,
Yes.
they're big fans, and they just recently had a birthday. And boy, I'm probably going to lose a friend right here. They just turned 50, which is unbelievable to me.
The triplets did?
Yes, they were like 17 when I was racing
They
with them on
still
Wednesday
look
nights.
a little pretty close to
They
that.
still look very, very good and very, very, very young. But they've lived a really posh, soft life. That's why.
Is that what it is?
I got to zoom in on that. Hold on.
Oh, they have.
Can they read lips?
Anyway, they are quality people. Their car operation is quality, just as they are, and they're quality racers. They're just amazing young guys. I'm sure their dad's looking down and very, very proud.
Monday are these two fellas' birthdays.
Oh,
They share a birthday.
You're going to be 50?
We don't.
as
Yeah.
well?
Yeah.
Well, Don's got a few years on me,
Yeah,
but
Don's going to be 50 again.
we share the
Yeah.
19th
Oh, John's rolled the Speedo back, hasn't he?
multiple times.
Exactly. Stan Holt,
Thank you.
founder of Loopy Tortilla, and we want to talk to you a little bit more, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
about your car collection.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
pick one of the boys. We'll
Be
talk
happy.
to them about the evolution as well.
The In
Okay,
Wheel
great.
Time
Thank
Car
you.
Talk Show streams on the iHeart Radio app, Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com, and podcasts are available on your favorite podcast channel. In Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break.
Your friends and hosts of the quarterly Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In at the Loopy Tortilla in Katy want to thank you for participating in this year's events and look forward to another exciting year. You'll hear about the next Tailpipes and Tacos right here and online soon. Next time you're in West Houston, be sure and stop in at the original Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex near I-10 and Highway 6, or the Katy location off I-10 and the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard. Traveling east to Beaumont or northwest to College Station, you'll want to have Loopy's award-winning beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. There's always a celebration at Loopy Tortilla. Loopy founder Stan Holt and his wife Sheila are car people through and through. Both are winning racers on the NHRA drag racing circuit and have a collection of cars that everyone appreciates. You'll see one at the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In. The next event will be in the spring at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex on 99, the Grand Parkway and Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 in Katy. We'll give you all the details soon here on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show and online. Want to take a minute to tell you about Gulf Coast Auto Shield, a Houston detail company like no other. Gulf Coast Auto Shield offers paint correction services that'll give your car, truck, or SUV a like-new shine. Afterwards, you'll want to protect it with a professionally installed nano-ceramic coating or protection film. Worried about your very expensive windshield getting damaged, broken, or cracked? Let Gulf Coast Auto Shield install Exo Shield, a windshield protection film. Give John Gray a call today or check out their website, gcautoshield.com. Hey, whether you own a new, ultra-expensive, exotic, or a 5-year-old Suburban, Gulf Coast Auto Shield will help keep your investment looking like the day it rolled off the assembly line. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is conveniently located on the South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of I-69, the Southwest Freeway. Meet the staff and check out all of their services online right now at gcautoshield.com. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeartRadio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeartRadio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeartRadio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Wheel Time Car Talk.
Speaking of, welcome to the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show, coming to you from the Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Cruise In at the Lupe Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, Texas. Just ahead, more guests from today's event. Conrad will have the In Wheel Time Car Clinic, and we'll have this week's auto news. Howdy. Along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We need more, Jeff Zekin.
Woohoo!
And back, wait, here, there he is. Ladies and gentlemen, David Ainsley, our chief engineer on this fine broadcast. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us. It's a little chilly outside.
It's cold.
But you know what?
Quit saying chilly.
You know what I'm looking at? There's a little break in the clouds, and I'm seeing blue skies, brother. Just like the weatherman who never gets anything wrong predicted.
Hopefully it'll get here in a hurry and the sun will break through.
I don't know if that's going to help. You know, I hear that next weekend is going to be really cold.
Oh, boy.
Well, that'll work well for my my segment.
It will?
Yep. Do I need to warm up my car?
That's good.
No, I need to warm my hands, my feet, my loins.
And I have to tell you that, as I mentioned at the open that I just did, we are at the Lupe Tortilla in Katy, and we're out here at the Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Cruise In.
Still time for you to go jump in your car and get out here.
And
bring a toy.
And I will tell you, I'm quite surprised. This is a nice turnout.
Very nice turnout.
As cold weather as it is, and look at all of the donations, the toys for
absolutely.
kids.
Got a huge pile.
Huge pile.
Like 4 tables are full.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
And
we got people sitting out here under the fire, in the fire, by the fire,
around the fire.
Not in the fire.
not in the fire.
We've got a table with some waxes
Joan
and
of Arc
polishes we
showed up,
brought.
right? Joan of Arc showed up in the fire.
In Wheel Time brought some waxes and polishes on the end of the corner there, so help yourself. Grab some of that.
Yeah.
Springtime's coming.
Yeah. Have we passed those out?
No, I've got them on a table down here.
Okay. Because I was going to say that
There's still a bunch of them, so somebody needs to grab them.
Yeah.
Well,
take 4, 5, 6,
I
7.
think what we need to do is we need to just kind of go out there and distribute them. What do you think?
I think that's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, get after it.
As soon as we get a chance.
Yeah.
I see my buddy Bruce West pulled in his Corvette. He's out here running around.
Very nice.
Yep.
And George is here. He's the guy that takes care of Stan's car collection, which I saw him walk by just a moment ago, and we're going to talk to him about his car collection. I particularly like that red, whatever that is over there, that red car hot rod convertible.
Yeah, it looks like a Ford.
Yeah, I'd go with a Ford convertible.
I'd go with a Ford.
Of some sort.
Well,
there's Bruce right here. Hey, buddy.
Hi, Bruce. Thanks for joining us today. Appreciate you. There is a wide collection of cars here that looked like a Skyline that just walked. Did you see the Skyline?
Yeah.
Was it a Skyline?
GTR is what they call it here in the States. Skyline in Japan.
Is that right-hand drive?
In Japan,
Skyline
it would be.
is,
Not
Or
here.
in Japan, it would be, yeah. But you can bring them over if they're 25 years or older.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, that mid-50s Buick, the
Yes. I think it's a 56, but I'm not.
the Back to the Future DeLorean with all of the accessories on
Let's
it.
go back to the Buick has Dagmars on it.
Yeah, I like
The little Dagmars.
Little
Yeah.
Dagmars. Training bra
Training
size.
Dagmars.
I am not going to go there, Don.
Why?
Send your comments to info@inwheeltime.com.
Send them directly to Conrad. That's
Conrad,
Conrad at
inwheeltime.com.
inwheeltime.com.
And that's Conrad with a K.
Yeah.
It is. How did that happen?
It is the Austrian way to spell Conrad. The German way to spell Conrad.
They ran out of vowels.
Is DeLong Austrian?
No, it's kind of a French-German blend. My dad's dad was
kind of like a Peugeot.
Yeah, no.
A Saab.
My dad's dad was from the Alsace-Lorraine region of Germany, and it's kind of a disputed area of depends on which war happened. Is it part of Germany or is it part of France?
I see. You ever been there?
Nope. My dad's gone. My dad's since passed, but he's been there.
I see.
Here's the skyline now.
Yes.
Yep, got a shot of
We
it.
call it the skyline, but it's not the skyline.
It's faster than snot.
That's
And
what I
today is
understand.
rolling.
I'd like to ride in one of those one time. Give me a little
Surprised
ride.
you never had one for a.
No.
They don't give out the hot rods.
No.
Not since
Nissan.
idiots have wrecked them.
Nissan is very odd when it comes to loaning out cars to the press, and I'm not sure what that's about.
Well, I understood the new Z was in town somewhere.
Yeah, it was, and I didn't get it.
Oh.
And I complained heavily to my contact with Nissan.
And you still didn't get
I
it.
still didn't get it. There's Sheila May.
Yeah.
At any rate, we're still waiting. You know, Stan being Stan, he's kind of all over the place, and somebody will grab him and he'll start a conversation, and then goes over here, and then somebody else. Jeff, do you think you could track him down? Stan? Could you track down Stan and tell him we're ready for him? Thank you. But at any rate, a nice collection of cars here. Now, there is a Chevy SSR.
I liked that. A lot of people don't. I liked that.
I liked it. I love the shape of it.
Because when you take its clothes off, it is a Trailblazer SS.
Well,
underneath with the V8 and
but
all the suspension.
it has absolutely no horsepower, and because it has no top on it, the body flexes really bad, worse than my '77 Corvette. And they could have kept the shape, just put a little bit more thought into the process. The V8 has no horsepower.
Well, you could eventually, towards the end, you can get them with an LS3. So they had the 400 horse LS in them.
And so but they still twisted even
more.
more.
Yeah. Well, there's no roof. When you take the upper strength out of a vehicle, they twist.
I know. So if you're going to put,
and they were not functional as a pickup truck.
Absolutely not,
no.
whatsoever. With that hard tonneau cover on it that didn't open.
That lifted about 15 degrees.
Well, there were so many things that didn't make any sense to me. I didn't understand it.
It was, my opinion is, it was kind of GM's answer to the Plymouth Prowler. You know, very retro looking.
Yeah.
You know, the Prowler looked like a 32 high boy.
My dad loved that Prowler.
And the SSR kind of looked like a early 50s Chevrolet pickup truck.
Yeah, it did. As a matter of fact, I remember distinctly reading a story about that GM had to go back to the 1950s because the way that the fenders are formed and the big round sculpted fenders.
Hard to do in sheet metal.
Right. And so they had to go
in
back.
Today's sheet metal, because today's sheet metal is so thin because they want the vehicle light. Back in the 50s, it was easy to do because the sheet metal was probably 4 times as thick as it is today.
Yeah.
So it was easier to stamp and form.
So they had to go back to the 1950s technology to get those big bulbous fenders.
I liked them. I had probably 7 or 8 as company cars. I liked them. They were fun.
Seriously?
Yep. You could row them. You can get a 6-speed in them.
I never understood why they did that to the trunk. Why did the bed to put the hard tonneau cover on it?
They had some accessories for the bed, like some pockets and some drawer things and stuff, but it really was never functional as a bed, as a pickup truck bed.
But, you know, I don't know. I mean, I appreciate tonneau covers, but you still have the functionality.
Yeah, well, that one you couldn't stand or sit on because it was body colored.
And you couldn't do anything with it. I mean, you maybe put some grocery bags back there. That's about it.
Only if you
Okay.
had storage containers, because when you stepped on the brake, they'd go everything would go rolling around.
Sliding forward. Yeah, it just isn't well thought out. But I love the look of it. And the one that I had, and out of the press fleet, it was underpowered.
Might have been the first gen. When
It was.
The LS1 was only 350 horse, but the second gen with the 400 horse LS3 was much better.
It was underpowered, and it was kind of disappointing. I liked it. Got tons of looks, but that's about it.
The interior, I thought, had room to improve.
Yes.
You know, because I like a pretty wide driver compartment, and it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. It kind of was harken back to the El Camino days.
Well, I'm an El Camino fan.
I am a
That's one
huge
of my-
El Camino
one of my
fan.
favorites.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we've wrangled him
Again.
and ladies and gentlemen, the founder of Loopy Tortilla, and as I mentioned, you didn't hear your commercial, but I did a commercial touting you and Sheila and NHRA and you know your passion for cars. You've always had a passion for cars because your dad was in the car business, if I'm not mistaken.
And I was in the car business.
Were you?
Yeah.
That was in California, wasn't it? Was it in California?
California, when I got out of the service.
East L.A.
You're welcome. I went in the car business. I was going to go back to school. I had a year and a half left. Of school left. And I was going to go. My dad said, you were washing cars when you left. Why don't you sell them, make some money, go back to school? And I got out of service in October. I was going to go back in the spring. So my brother, a banker, he was like a junior officer at Bank of America in Covina, California. And I thought he was making $900 a month. He assured me it was just over $650. And I started making $1,000 a week selling cars. I'm thinking, if I go back to school in the spring, it'll take me a lifetime to recover. And it wasn't that every month. Remember, this is in 1969.
Right.
So fun time to sell cars, though.
I had previously, in my previous job, been making $233 a month, plus including meals and sleeping place.
Yeah, that's called a service.
It's called a service. So I decided, I said, Dad, I'm going to stay out until the next fall, really stack up some money and go back in style. He said, I don't care if you ever go back. I'm done paying for it.
Well, what a nice combination. You selling them and him financing them.
Yeah, what a deal. So anyway, I stayed. A long, long story, very short. It was a Pontiac American Motors dealership and international.
What a combination.
All the bases covered.
That's reaching to make money.
Yeah.
Isn't it? You couldn't give away an international.
I was just going to say, did you sell tractors too?
No. But Honda was going to introduce their first car. And you remember what that looked like,
Yep.
right? Okay.
The 600.
Yes. And
I don't fit in a 600.
no. My dad and the dealer, the owner of the dealer, were both World War II pilots.
Oh, okay.
Both had been shot down, and apparently not by Germans. They didn't want to sell that Japanese car. So I talked them into it. Dominic Longo was and still is the largest Toyota dealer.
Oh, yeah. Forever.
Forever. And they were friends. There's 8-10 miles apart. And I just made, one of my Stan Holt comments. I said, well, Dominic Longo's laying on the beach in Waikiki, and we're all down here working on Sunday. And the owner said, get them, but I don't want anything to do with them. We had to buy 10 cars, $10,000 worth of parts, and hang a sign.
That's it?
We were the dealer. And we did all that, and so they said, you're the Honda manager. Okay. So when you pull into the dealership, by the gas pump, it said parking for Johnny Bryant. And the letters were 8 feet high.